Okay, go ahead.
All right, I am calling to order the Board of Commissioners in this County Council public meeting. It is October 11th. Time now is 1:37. We have the full board present, Commissioner Minty, myself, Commissioner DeGroot in the room. Commissioner Hensley is joining us virtually. I will just quickly ask if any member of the board has any conflict or ex parte contact that they wish to declare.
No.
I do not.
Then I'll turn it over to Deputy Justman. Hello, sir.
Morning.
Morning.
Afternoon,
Afternoon,
I guess now. Yeah. So I was dispatched out to Drews Road on the 15th of September. Initial report was that 4 dogs had been shot chasing livestock. We've been through this a couple times. We know where the dogs are coming from. They just keep getting more dogs. I responded out to the property, located the dogs in place. I did drop markers on Onyx. I got a picture that kind of depicts how far onto the property they are. And then pictures of the dogs actually in with the cows. And that's really all I got. If you want to go to the pictures. So this is one of the deceased dogs. I believe that's the same one. They all wear the same blue collars. You can't hardly see way back in this corner. There's actually cows in this set of fencing that the dogs are in.
Okay.
This would be the other one. And this one, clearly you can see in with the cows.
Yep.
Fairly off the property. So there was 4 dogs shot. I located one at this marker, which is onto Stonier's property. They're coming from this property right here, about where the cursor is.
Okay.
This was a second dog that I located, and a third, and then there was a 4th shot in this same general area, but was not located. It sounded like it was hit enough that there was no doubt that it was going to die. It just ran off, and we couldn't find it.
Okay.
And that's all I got for pictures.
Okay.
For the fee scale, because we didn't have any animals, it's just the civil penalty. We are requesting the maximum by statute, just due to how many times we've been here for the same owner, same dogs. So 4 dogs for $500 a piece is $2,000.
And you said, so just a question, Debbie, on that 500, as I read the statute, it's for chasing, shall impose a civil penalty of not less than $250 and not more than 1,000 times 4.
Should be 500 for chasing, I thought.
I think it is 5.
For
I
one.
thought the
That's the
1,000.
no previous, so that we know that these dogs,
The dogs turn over so much that
yeah,
this is likely their first hearing because
Okay.
they get shot.
So that would be no previous violation,
Right.
because this says previous history. So you're looking
Right,
at
the owner
it,
has previous history, but
but not
the
but not
dogs
the
don't.
animals. Okay. So you're looking in this section here. Okay. Thank you. That helps me clarify that, because I was
Yeah.
like, all right. Any other questions for the deputy, Commissioner Minty, Commissioner Hensley?
Did I read your report correctly, Deputy, that the victim in this case has killed 10 dogs of that owner?
yes, sir. We've been dealing with this property for a long time now. Mr. Stonier's done it right. He's trapped dogs. He's taken dogs back to him. He's called them, had them come retrieve their dogs. Unfortunately, we're to the point where he can't keep mending fence with the cattle running through it, and started shooting the dogs on site when they're chasing cattle. The first incident, 5 dogs were shot. That was, I want to say, in 2022.
Mm-hmm.
And then the second time that he had to shoot dogs was just a couple months ago with Deputy Gray. And then this one, that was only 1 dog that time for a total of 6. And then this one, 4, makes it at least 10. So,
I feel really bad for him that he has to be put in that situation. I think that's horrible. Are the owners failing to keep them fenced? Are they breaking out? What's the issue here?
This time they were able to push a window open in the trailer, jump out the trailer door while she was away from the house, went over and had this incident. Kind of seems like we're in the dogs breed. 6 months later, they start running loose. He shoots them all. they breed them, they get 6 months old, he shoots them all. And so they're different dogs every time. But
Do they have more dogs?
yes, she has, I want to say 7 more right now and had puppies recently. So that's only if she was telling me the truth when I talked to her.
Has she paid the fines?
No.
Previously?
Are there any individual citations issued to her as the owner?
Not yet.
Keep it nuisance running at large.
Right, because talking with you last time, we were worried about the double jeopardy situation. And I know these are for the dogs, and then the justice court would be for that. So we're working towards that. We're trying to abate her dogs to where she can't own dogs in the county, but we're not there yet. Unfortunately, that's a slow process.
I just want to make sure that the victim knows that
Right.
we're heading in a direction, hopefully.
Yeah, and I talk with Frank often.
Okay.
So that process is underway.
Yes.
Because this is ridiculous. It's
Right.
just cruel at this point, and not by you, Mr. Stonier. That
and
that is
I wish
so
it fell under a
irresponsible.
neglect situation where we could charge her because they're
Yes.
literally just dying. But
yes, she. Oh man, just absolutely ridiculous.
Yep.
Anyway,
I think we're
nothing
all on
I
the
can
same
say
page.
and not get in trouble. So, any other questions for the deputy? All right, then we'll move on to Mr. Stonier. Anything that you wish to share at all?
No, I think I said about it, that what happens, those dogs are locked in a camper trailer sometimes 3-4 days with no food. And they literally either push something out or eat through the wall to get loose. And once they get loose, they just run amok. And they're not nice dogs. I mean, they'll come at you.
This should be. That sounds criminal.
Yeah, it's just cool. It's cool. I've told her, don't put me in this situation. You know, we went through this a year of taking them back and trapping them and doing all this stuff. And they just keep breeding them and misabusing them.
Well, sir,
Jared,
yeah.
can I ask a question?
Yep.
I don't want to get too far in the weeds and off topic, but I see Mr. Vaughn in the room. Is this a code issue as well, Rick?
Yes, it is. I'd have to review. This has been a long ongoing case too that I'm not recently familiar with, but I know we've got significant liens already against the property. So it will be one that we would be preparing to move on foreclosing the property. Mr. Stonier did share with me today the main, I'll refrain from calling it a residence, the main facility where people were living is now burned to the ground. And there's nobody actually there now. So I don't know if that will change or accelerate our process, but either way, we will intend soon to be working on the foreclosure of that foreclosing on those liens.
Yeah, thank you for that. I would really like to prioritize your staff making this, creating some urgency around this issue. I think that there's an angle we can take on the code side that'll remedy what Frank's having to deal with on a daily basis.
Just following process wise, anything else? I don't see the dog owner. They're not going to show up. So I guess I will just start with, I would make a motion that we find the 4 animals in question owned by Mr. or Miss Faith Carter guilty of chasing with no previous history.
Second.
So we have a motion and a second. Further discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Chair votes aye. Motion passes. And as to penalties, I'd make a motion that we impose civil fines pursuant to ORS 609 of the maximum of $500 per animal for a total of $2,000. And there's nothing else to do on that because the dogs aren't left. So
Second.
we have a motion and a second. Counsel, anything that I missed or that the board needs to address before taking action?
I don't believe so. It's hard to tell her to keep in the dogs.
Yeah,
I don't want her here, but wish we could keep in the dogs. She has.
All right, then any other discussion? I would call for the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Chair votes aye. Motion passes. Just maybe add before we adjourn that I don't know what you do in a situation like this, but we've
Well,
got
and
to be able to.
Yeah, I have a question. If
Yeah.
what kind of teeth do we have for someone that's not paying the fines?
Somebody doesn't pay the fines that we impose in these hearings for livestock. What is
County has a judgment, it would attach to real property, and we can foreclose on judgments.
What?
Is this one started already?
I don't believe so.
I can't recall. It's,
And also for clarity, Commissioner Minty, what I had discussed with Deputy Justman last time around, or at some point before this hearing, is these livestock hearings are strictly as to the dogs. And so it seems that in this case, the individual owner needs to have some liability as well, whether it's criminal or on our civil code violations.
So
And
does,
those would be taken up in justice court.
okay. So I just I don't know if I'm missing a piece and people are talking in code and I'm not smart enough to figure out the code. Is there somebody that can do that? And is he in this room? And is it Rick or Levi? Okay.
Working
The
on part of
deputy?
it.
Okay.
I was hoping she was gonna show up today. I do have citations that I need to issue her for habitual offender, which is being found guilty of more than one
Okay.
of the same thing. And then I can move forward with an abatement. If the justice of the peace decides to go forward with the abatement, we abate all the dogs. And the last one we did was no dogs owned in Plymouth County by that person. So I'm hoping that we would fall into that same line.
Okay. Thank you, Deputy.
Now it's gonna be a little hard to find her, 'cause it sounds like her house burned down and she's out somewhere. So until she pops up, I won't be able to cite her. If I get more than 60 days out, then I can't cite her on it, and then I kind of starting over again.
Okay. And I think you were sort of addressing that, but again, I wasn't putting the pieces together. So thank you.
Okay.
and from the code side, it's the property, not the person.
Okay.
And on these, we can work toward judgment, and that gives us another avenue as well. And that's the property, not the person.
And so that would be through animal control for unpaid. So we have to give notice of unpaid fines and then proceed that way.
I would say we actively pursue that. Yeah.
Is there illegal camping occurring on that property?
Not anymore.
Frank?
There was.
Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you.
Additional conversation, questions, anything for the good of the order? All right, we're done. We are adjourned at, whoa.
So we don't have to
We don't
write
have
up
anything
a
else. What is it?
we don't have to write up that order because she's not here.
We'll still do an order for the civil penalties, it's just they don't have anything, they don't have any dogs somewhere.
This is yours. Yep, we are adjourned at